Trelleborg in southern Sweden plays host to the 2014 EFRA four-wheel drive electric buggy European Championships. A dirt track has been constructed on an indoor ice hockey arena especially for this race, so there was no chance of the weather affecting the event. The defending champion Martin Beyer struggled all weekend and didn't even make it into the aim final, so we knew we'd have a new champion this year. The racers had 5 rounds of qualifying to get to grips with the tight and tricky low traction circuit, so here's the 10 who made it into the main final to fight for the European title. Starting 10th on the grid for TLR from Great Britain, it's Ellis Stafford. 9th on the grid, another British driver, this time for Schumacher, Tom Cockerell. 8th on the grid, one of the youngsters in the main final. From Poland for Team Durango, it's Michael Orlowski. 7th on the grid is the youngest driver ever to make it into an electric buggy European Championship A final. Representing Sweden and Team Associated, it's Daniel Kobovic. 6th on the grid from Spain, it's Robert Battier with the Yokomo. Our 5th qualifier from Finland, another young driver with the Associated, Una Hattunen. 4th on the grid, the local favourite David Ronnefelt from Sweden with his Kosho. 3rd on the grid for Team C from Austria, it's Hupo Honigel. The 2nd place qualifier from Great Britain with a Yokomo, it's Lee Martin. And our top qualifier from Germany for Durango, it's Jörn Neumann. Let's get underway with the action from the first A final. And here we go, Jörn Neumann from the pole position blasts off. Lee Martin going to run second, Hupo Honigel third, David Ronnefelt in fourth as they go across the triples for the first time. And it's Hupo looking round the outside as Una Hattunen tries to make up some spaces. Ronnefelt looks like he's trying to get up some space as well. And that has all meant that Jörn Neumann has extended his lead from pole position. Lee Martin runs second, Hupo Honigel third. Then Ronnefelt is in fourth. It is 1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't know if there's going to be any penalties given out by the referees there as they come over the J-Concepts jumble for the first time. Yes, it's Ronnefelt who gets a penalty for that incident with Hattunen. That costs him some time. Jörn Neumann, meanwhile, out in front. It's a battle for second between Lee Martin and Hupo Honigel. We can see that battle there on the screen as they clear the triple. Lee runs very wide on the landing. Hupo is all over the rear wing as they go up the J-Concepts jump. Lee gets stuck in the pipe. Hupo through to the 2 spot now. Lee down to third. And I'm not sure who that is. That's Michael Orlowski up to 4th place from 8th on the grid. So Durango at the front, extending his lead. Jörn Neumann out in front. 2nd place is Hupo. 3rd, Lee Martin. 4th, Michael Orlowski gets a bad landing. Hattunen is there as well in 5th. Let's look at this battle for second as they come out the back straight. Down the main straight they go. Hupo Honigel versus Lee Martin. Going through the off-camber right-hander now, launching over the triples. The Austrian versus the British driver. These guys have raced for a number of years here in the European Championship finals, both in the four-wheel drive and the two-wheel drive event. We saw in the two-wheel drive event that it was the pole position car of Lee Martin who looked on track to win it, but an unfortunate incident in the third final gave Jörn Neumann the title. Lee had to settle for second. Lee wanted to get the job done in four-wheel drive, but at the moment, leg number 1, it is Jörn miles clearing the lead. Jörn leading, let's check the gap this time by. Jörn is leading by 4.5 seconds. The battle for second between Hupo Honigel and Lee Martin. Across the triples they go. Over the TV double, then the J-Concepts jump one more time. Let's check the race time. We are about halfway there. 2.5 down, 2.5 to go. Jörn Neumann, the race leader. Hupo is quite comfortable in second out as Lee Martin drops back into the clutches of Una Hattunen. Una from 5th on the grid. The young superstar is up there challenging the former European champion Lee Martin as they're going to go up onto the tabletop now. Let's check out this battle between Una and Lee. In fact, it's now a battle between David Ronnefelt and Una. And a mistake from Jörn as he lands badly off of the J-Concepts jump. Behind him, it's Una makes a bad landing as well. But the race order at the front is unchanged. Jörn leads them. Hupo is second. Lee is third. Jörn Neumann, the race leader. Hupo Honigel running in second. Lee Martin is third. David Ronnefelt is in fourth. Una Hattunen is in 5th. And now Lee Martin once again closing in on Hupo Honigel. The pair of them coming over the TV double now as we have got 1 minute and 45 seconds to go. 1:45 to go. The battle for second between the Austrian and the Brits once again. Over the Durango double they go. In front of our camera position, turning right and launching across the triple jump in the centre of the circuit. Jörn Neumann is gone at the moment. He is checked out, leading still by about 4 seconds at this point. The battle for second between Hupo and Lee. Down the back straight they go. Over the Durango double. through the off-camber right-hander in the triple jump. There's some cars crashed in front of them. The marshal managed to avoid both of them. They get away nice and cleanly. Hoopo versus Lee. The battle still for second. Jorn nice and clear in the lead at the moment. As we have 1 minute left. 1 minute to go in this A final, leg number 1. Hoopo, a bad landing from him, and Lee Martin is right there as they go through the flat stuff. Up onto the tabletop. Lee getting right up to the pipe and then rolls it as they come onto the back straight. That's going to cost him some time, possibly some places. Sarai Orlovsky, I think, is a lap down, as Ronnefeld is now fighting Lee Martin for third place in this first leg. Hoopo's made a mistake as well. It's now a three-way battle for third. Jorn Neumann is gone. We are focusing on the battle for second at the moment with 30 seconds left. Down the backside, Ronnefeld, a drive straight up inside, but then throws it all away on the next jump. And that all means Hoopo still hangs on to second. Lee is back there in third, closing in on Hoopo as we have 20 seconds to go. This is going to be probably the final lap. I don't think they're going to get around one more time. Hoopo versus Lee Martin, the battle for second. Out in front, Jorn Neumann is clear in the lead. The battle for second, a few more corners for them. Hoopo versus Lee. Across the J Concepts jump they go. Lee looks up the inside, get up onto the tabletop. Out of the tabletop they go. Hoopo takes second place in this leg, I think. And we're just waiting now for Jorn Neumann coming onto the tabletop himself. Off the tabletop goes Jorn. Jorn takes the win there in leg number 1. Lee Martin going to finish third. Hoopo Honeygel does enough to hang on second place. Una Hassanen finishes fourth, just pipping David Ronnefeld to the line. Behind them, Battier, Kobovic, Stafford, Orlovsky and Cockerell. And here we go, A final, leg number 2. The maths very simple. If Jorn Neumann can get the job done in this one, as he did in the first one, he will be the European champion once again in this four-wheel drive buggy class. And out in front, Jorn is pulling away already. Lee Martin desperately trying to go with him. We heard from people during the break between the first two finals that they thought the best way for anyone to beat Jorn was to pressure him in the early stages. Lee Martin looks like he is the second fastest car on the track, but he just can't quite get close enough to Jorn to make a move in these early stages. Behind them, Hoopo is third. Ronnefeld is fourth. Una had made it up to fourth, but drops back down to fifth. Behind them, it's Battier and Orlovsky as they go around to complete lap number 2 here at the Trelleborg circuit inside the ice hockey arena. Out in front, Jorn Neumann is leading it. Lee Martin closing the gap down ever so slightly, it looks like at the moment. Let's check some lap times as they come across on this third lap of racing here in A final leg number 2. Lee Martin takes 0.2 of a second out of Jorn as they turn right across the off-camber corner. Over the triples they go. Definitely Lee Martin is staying a lot close to Jorn, and Jorn makes a mistake on the landing off the J Concepts jump, and that puts Lee Martin all over the back of Jorn Neumann's Durango buggy. Durango versus Yokomo here. Germany versus Great Britain. Jorn touching the inside pipe. Lee lands it perfectly off of the triples. Maybe this is what we need to see. Someone putting the pressure on Jorn, trying to make him crack as they go down the back straight. 1.5 minutes quickly down, 3.5 minutes still to go here in A final, leg number 2. This is the European Championship 2014. We are brought to you by Team Durango and the DEX 410 V4, the car that is currently leading this leg of the final. Also by VRC Pro, J Concepts, and also a big thanks to Effort as well. Jorn Neumann now putting the hammer down, pulling a gap out over Lee Martin. Lee now dropping back into the clutches of Hoopo Honeygel. And then Neumann makes a mistake, rolls it over, but Lee Martin gets the rhythm all wrong and has to single the jumps. And that's going to all mean that he drops back a little bit. The gap stays the same. And Hoopo made a mistake, and that's put Ronnefeld through to the third spot. Ronnefeld has possibly got the fastest car of everybody, but just keeps on making mistakes. And as I say that, makes another mistake, and that allows Hassanen up to fourth. Out in front, though, Jorn Neumann, Lee Martin, the battle for the lead. They are split by about 1.5 seconds as we've got a crashed car in front. That is young Daniel Kobovic, but I'm sure he will not want to get involved in this battle. He doesn't. He nicely moves out of the way, allows the cars to stream through. Excellent driving there from the youngster. It's an A final, but it's still important. The battle up front as Lee Martin once again is closing the gap down. Jorn Neumann coming under pressure once again from Lee Martin as they go over the J Concepts jump onto the tabletop. You can see the two cars on the tabletop almost at the same time. As Jorn Neumann down the back straight, Lee Martin runs in second. We are just past half distance. 2 minutes left here in A final leg number 2. Jörn Neumann 2 minutes away from taking the four-wheel drive buggy title back to Germany and back to Durango. It seems at this point like Lee Martin is the only person who may be able to deny him that title, but Lee has now dropped down to 2 seconds behind our race leader. Behind them, Una Hattunen has got up to third, Battier is in fourth, but we are unfortunately going to have to worry about the cars up front. Jörn Neumann on track to become the European champion. He has 1.5 minutes to hold on. Lee Martin behind, runs in second, Una is third, Battier is fourth. A bad land there from Lee over the TV double, and that gives Jörn even more breathing space. Jörn Neumann stretching his lead out. The gap is up to over 3 seconds. Lee Martin, has he got anything left? Is Jörn into cruise control mode? We have 1 minute left here in A final leg number 2. A final leg number 2 here with Jörn Neumann stretching the gap at the front. Lee Martin runs in second place. This is a almost textbook drive from Jörn Neumann. There was some early pressure from Lee Martin. Jörn did make a couple of mistakes, but he recovered well, did not lose the lead, and then got his head down, got on with the job, and he leads them now with just 35 seconds on the clock. The gap this time by at the line is 4.6 seconds. This is a tremendous lead to have in a European Championship final. This is A final leg number 2. Jörn Neumann now just 20 seconds away from taking home the title here in Trelleborg in Sweden. Jörn Neumann, there's a crash in front of him. Is anything going to happen there? No, he manages to avoid the stricken cars. Then has to be careful over the next couple of jumps. Some of the other cars almost trying to get involved and race Jörn there, but he keeps his nose clean out in front. Lee Martin is too far back to be able to do anything about that. There's a battle going on for third and fourth, but we will stay with our leader. Jörn Neumann over the TV double, over the J-Concept jump. Jörn Neumann has got 2 corners to go on the tabletop, off tabletop. Jörn Neumann is the European champion in the four-wheel drive class. Who's going to come through to finish in second place? I think it is Lee Martin in second. Una Hattunen is third. Robert Battier in fourth. But our champion is Jörn Neumann. So the final race of the week blasts off. Lee Martin from the essential pole position because Jörn Neumann has this title already wrapped up. Hugo Honeygel second on the grid essentially. Una Hattunen gets an effective third as David Ronnefeld has a problem before the start and has to start from position 11 on the grid. So Lee Martin leads us around lap number 2 over the triple. Hugo Honeygel goes wide on landing and Una is up to second. Una has got a chance of second overall in this one, don't forget. Down the back straight, Lee Martin followed by Una Hattunen, Robert Battier, then Hugo Honeygel. Over the triples they go. We are watching the battle for second place between Una Hattunen and Robert Battier. Battier throws it off the track and then the TV double. Honeygel makes a mistake. It's a two-way battle at the front of the field. Lee Martin versus the Finnish youngster. Una Hattunen, Lee Martin with, I think, 3 or 4 European titles. Una Hattunen, first year racing four-wheel drive buggies full-time. He is up there challenging this 4-time champion. Down the back straight, over the Durango double. Lee Martin versus Una Hattunen. Great Britain versus Finland. The crowd behind me, there is no doubt about who they are supporting. They are supporting the young Finnish driver as they go onto the tabletop with 1.5 minutes down, 3.5 minutes to go. Down the back straight, Lee Martin versus Una Hattunen. Going to make the right-hand turn, over the triple they go. Una looks up the inside, no room there. Lee slams the door. They go across the J-Concepts jump. It's the white and orange of Lee Martin versus the green and black of Una Hattunen. It's the 2 versus the 5. It's Finland versus Great Britain. It's Yokomo versus Associated. Across the triple, and Una's the one to crack under the pressure, making the mistake, and then has to take the TV double very carefully, singling it before he can double the J-Concepts jump. Lee Martin is the one bringing the sigh of relief as he takes over an easy lead, maintains an easy lead as he clears the triples. The gap that time by was 2.2 seconds as we approach the half distance marker. Lee Martin leading. Let's give you a rundown of the order. It's Lee from Una, Robert, Hupo, Tom, David, Daniel, Ellis and Michael. As Una catches a pipe, that allows Robert Battier to close up a little bit, but not close enough to mount a challenge just yet, as we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to race. Lee Martin out in front, wishing he had this speed, wishing he had this opportunity in either the two-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive competition. It hasn't gone his way. Down the back straight goes our leader. Turning right over the triple jump. We've got our battle for second. It is Robert Battier now up to second. Una Hassan fights back, tries to get up the inside. They single. Here comes Hupo trying to get in the mix as well. Three-way battle for second through the flat bit, over the tabletop. They bump each other as they come on the tabletop. Una loses a place to Hupo, but fights straight back, looking up the inside. A little nut. Here comes Una through, past Hupo Honeygall. Battier is the next target for Una as he goes over the TV double. Out in front, Lee Martin, an easy lead at the moment. The battle now for second between Robert Battier and Una Hassanen. Down the straight, over the Durango double. Through the flat bit, over the triples. There is 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock. Here comes the finish driver. Una Hassanen closing in on Battier, putting the 1/8 world champion under immense pressure here. Down the back straight here in Sweden, over the Durango double one more time. It's again Yokomo versus Associated. It's Spain versus Finland, and the Spanish driver cracks, crashing on the landing off the triple. Una Hassan back through to second. This could put Una third overall at this European Championship. Robert Battier says, no way, I am coming back for this one with 45 seconds to go. Battier using all of his off-road knowledge, all his experience, launching it over the triple. Lands it perfectly. So does Hupo. Three-way battle still for second place. Una in control, though, off the tabletop. As we have 30 seconds to go. Una Hassan holds second place. Battier in third. Honeygall is fourth. I think that is Cockrell in fifth. As we have a mistake from Battier. Honeygall to the 3 spot. Lee Martineau in cruise control mode, leading by a massive, massive distance. This time by his lead is 7 seconds. As we have a few seconds left. I don't know if they're going to get around again. Lee Martin does get onto the extra lap. Time has expired. Finish the lap you're on. Una Hassanen going to cross the line to take second in the final leg. Lee Martin on, meanwhile, behind them there's a pile-up. Hupo going to hang on for third. Lee Martin onto the tabletop now. Lee Martin comes out of the final corner to take the win. So the winner of A final, number 3, Lee Martin. Una Hassanen finishing in second. Hupo Honeygall third. Battier in fourth. Cockrell fifth. Ronnefalk fifth. Kobovic, Stafford, Orlovsky. And cheers from the Finnish fans up there. So the overall results, Jörn Neumann obviously confirmed as the European champion. Lee Martin, his second runner-up finish at this venue. Hupo Honeygall just hangs on to third overall. Una Hassan missing out on the podium with fourth place. Fifth was Robert Battier. David Ronnefalk was sixth. Seventh place for Tom Cockrell. Eighth for young Daniel Kobovic. Ninth for Michael Orlovsky. And 10th place for Ellis Stafford.